Hey, compliance warriors. Sorry, my dog just barked at the same time. Oh, sorry. I don't know if you could hear that. Lisa Smith here. I'm so excited. My dogs are barking and I'm forgetting to talk into my microphone, but I am going live with no makeup on, by the way, because I am so excited. I just saw about 30 minutes ago the Department of Labor has notified everyone that they have published their proposed rule for overtime exemptions in the Federal Register. Now, what does that mean? Well, we've been waiting to figure out if they were going to update significantly what it takes to be considered exempt versus non-exempt. And I'm a little bit disappointed because they haven't given us like a big change to the duties test. We've been hoping, and they've even hinted that they would, but they did not. The only thing they're really focusing on, and you can read it for yourself, but the main thing they're focusing on is they're updating the salary threshold, which is currently $684 a week. Now, I'm going to pull up my blog post here so I can read it. By the way, go to helpdeskforhr.com and take a look at the blog post that I just published. I also sent everybody an email with this, so you're going to get it one way or the other. But anyway, they're going to update the salary from 684 to $1,059 per week, and that equals out to $55,068 per year. They're also updating the highly compensated threshold, which is currently just over $107,000. They're updating that to $143,988 per year for highly compensated. Now, are these the final, end all be all? No, because what they're doing is they're publishing this in the register. They want people like you and me to go in and comment and say, we love it, we hate it, that's too much money, that's not enough money, whatever. But if they come down off of this, it will probably be just a little, because they're wanting to be really close to that $50,000 a year mark. I thought they might come in at about 984 or something like that, and so I was close, but they're coming in at 1059 per week, $1,059 per week. So anyway, what do you need to do? Well, you need to start crunching numbers and looking at who is making at least $1,059 per week if they are overtime exempt. And chances are, if they're making that or more, you don't have to worry about them. They can probably stay exempt. The other thing is that we want to watch and keep in mind that they may come down off of this. I don't think they'll raise it more than this, but so start looking and decide who in your organization that is currently classified as exempt, who is not making that much money, $1,059 per week, or the equivalent of $55,068 annually. So if you have someone you've classified exempt and they're making 50 grand a year, that's not enough. So we're either going to need to give them the extra pay raise, or we're going to need to start looking at the possibility of reclassifying them from exempt to non-exempt. Okay, so keep that in mind and start crunching the numbers. The other thing that is part of this proposed rule is that directly affects us right here. There are a few other things that may or may not affect everyone, but automatically updating the earnings threshold every 3 years. So keeping pace with changes in salaries and inflation and so forth, cost of living, every 3 years instead of once every 8 or 10 years like they've been, or even longer sometimes, like they've been doing in the past. They want to have a regular updating mechanism. Now, when President Obama tried to do this back during his administration, it was set up, and I think it was going to start updating every year maybe, but that got thrown out by a judge in Texas. They said it was not within the scope of the DOL to be able to do this, so on and so forth. So they're trying this again with an update every 3 years, which is more reasonable, and which I think has a really great chance of passing through. So we'll see. I'm sure there are going to be the naysayers and the people that are like, no, and who knows if the courts are going to get involved, and we have no idea. But we've got to start watching. The comment period is going to be, it's usually 90 days. Let's see if it says on here. I may have to go back and look that up. 60 to 90 days, somewhere in there. It's not actually in the Federal Register this second, but it will be posted very soon. Anyway, so once that period is over, they're going to review the comments, and then they're going to issue a final rule with an implementation date. Now, are they going to seek to implement this January 1st? Possibly. I mean, it's just now August 30th. So September, October, November, January 1st would be a stretch. Maybe March 1st. I don't know. So we'll see. And of course, all of that is going to depend on if it gets challenged and, what the thing is. But this is pretty straightforward. And sadly enough, it does not include any alterations to the duties test, which is what we wanted, right? We wanted that administrative exemption to get clarified for us, and they're not doing it. But what they said is that they're not going to propose changes to the duties test consistent with how they've approached it in the last few rounds. But the DOL favors keeping the current standards duties test, which is well known to employers, well known to be bad, as long as it is paired with the appropriate salary level. They feel like the duties that person is doing is going to be considered exempt if you're willing to pay somebody $55,000 a year. Okay. So, and that's the minimum. That's minimum. So, anyway, just, crunch those numbers and see what you're doing there with your exempt folks. But anyway, that's the deal. Now, our computer professionals, I haven't opened it up and looked at it yet. I don't see any changes for them. They currently have to either be paid the salary threshold weekly or $27.63 per hour in order to forego overtime. I don't see that that's been updated, but we have to dig a little deeper to make sure. But for now, the big news is $1,059 per week, up from $684. Now, caveat here, if you are in a state with a higher threshold, your state is going to control. So it's not going to change for you if your state already requires more than $55,000 per year. For instance, California. Okay, there may be some other areas and states and so forth that will have a higher threshold. I'm not sure about New York. It's really close if it's not over that. So, but anyway, it's going to bring things a little closer to where the state levels are as well. So we'll just see. So compare the info. The highest number wins. You can't adjust down. You have to adjust up. So anyway, keep that in mind. And if you have questions, please reach out to me. Post here in chat, or send me support at helpdeskforhr.com, and we'll get you covered. I don't know if we'll do a boss call about this, since it really is very straightforward. There are some FAQs that have been issued, so I'm going to read through those, see if it's worth doing a boss call over. I will let you know, and we'll go from there. But we'll definitely be doing a boss call when the final rule is issued, which will be a few months down the road. Who knows how long. So anyway, go out there and be audit secure and knock them dead. You are the bosses and the warriors of compliance. So anyway, take care. Happy Wednesday. Talk to you later.